race fans, welcome to another episode of Short Track Guys Podcast, brought to you in part by McDonald Muffler, the Muffler Mafia, family-owned and operated muffler shop. They do converters, shocks, and more. Get in touch with those guys at 251-661-1043 in Mobile, Alabama. That's McDonald Muffler, the Muffler Mafia. Also in the studio, Jim Pokrant, driver of the 07 Can'tQuitFishing.com Sportsman and 2021 Sportsman champion here locally at Five Flag Speedway, and Ted Baber of Ted Baber Video Productions. What's up, guys?
How's it going?
Good evening.
Yes, another episode of Short Track Guys Podcast, and man, we had a big weekend.
Another one?
I think it was an Alan Turner Pro Late Model race.
There was one there.
It wasn't too bad. Yeah. It was a pretty good show. I thought, great racing, good, lots of passing.
Yeah.
Some of those Alan Turner races just kind of get stretched out, but there was Matt Craig and all them.
There was a whole lot of lap traffic.
Yeah, but there were some cars battling for the lead. I mean, it was actually a good show. I enjoyed watching it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, before we throw all those big names out in front of everybody, I want to throw one more in there in Sportsman class. And Jim had an event that was included in that show. And tell us what happened.
Well, let's see. I sucked. And,
What happened was?
what had happened was, we unloaded and went out for practice, and we were okay. I mean, and then we put tires on and qualified. We went a 1997, and car wasn't bad, but early on, I must have caught a water pocket or something, or the gauge messed up because it shot way up like the car was hot. So I pulled at the bottom down the backstretch, let a couple of cars go, and then I picked it back up. Once it went normal, I guess it's a gauge problem. I don't know. And just we still ain't got that car handling. It's rolling over, getting on the right rear, won't get off of it. We got some work to do, and we'll figure it out. I mean, but I'm still having fun. I still enjoy driving the car. Got to pass a couple guys, got to battle a little bit. So, I mean, it wasn't bad.
What does that car feel like as compared to like 2 years ago when you were?
Well, that car went in, and it took a set. When you got on the throttle, it dug the whole time. Now it goes in, it just kind of lazily rolls over on the right rear in the center of the corner. It feels like your whole car's just rolling over on the right rear tire and staying there, and you can't go anywhere. It's like I'm having to put wheel in it to get it to turn, and it's terrible. I think I found the problem, or one of the problems, and we're going to work on it. I got some plans, and, we got a couple of weeks, and we'll get it better.
Well, with the other car, you had time to go through all the problems, find every difficulty and every little tweak that you could make to it, and you got super comfortable with it.
That car, yeah.
You got to go. Yeah.
Well, I had to change the whole setup, too. This car's nowhere near like the old car. I mean, everything has changed. It's just not... It doesn't have that comfortable feel that the old car had.
You're just going to have to keep working on it and
get
to that point.
We'll get it there. I found a problem. I think there's too much weight on the right rear. I think I need to take some of that weight off. I think that'll help move it to the center. A couple of the little things that I need to do. It's just frustrating.
Yeah.
I'm frustrated because we're better than that. And
right.
I'm out there hustling hard as I can go every lap, and I'm not gaining anything.
Well, I mean, you just keep working, you'll find that sweet spot.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there. And it's frustrating. But hey, I'm having fun. I thank all my sponsors, All Pools, Ted Baber, Can'tQuitFishing.com, Emerald Coast Remodeling and Trim, Victor Herm at Premier Window Tinting, and
speaking of windows, that front windshield, remember who gave you?
And Pensacola Glass Company. Thank you. Sorry, Ted. Thanks for reminding me for that. And Jerry Bowman at Bowman Marine Construction for his help with the lettering of the car, which I may change the color. So if I do, I may have to get up with him again. And I would like to send out man, I'm so sorry what happened to them this weekend. They went out to run the heat race, and the transmission broke, so they were out like right off the bat. So, but he's going to get a chance to run another race, so that's cool. I mean, it sucks. Would love to see one of our own up there at Bristol on dirt and see how good he could do, but they ended up sitting in the pits.
That always hurts, but it happens to everybody.
It does
break,
Well, speaking of dirt, I mean, we've got a couple of events that we have going to dabble in later, but it's going to be outside of the local area, but we're going to get into that just in a little bit. But
that's some super good racing too.
Yeah, really good stuff. And we're going to put some of the share videos up on our Facebook page, Short Track Guys Podcast on Facebook, and you'll kind of gather this episode with those explanations and the video and put two and two together, and you'll understand what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
It for Short Track Guys fans.
Right.
So, but back to this weekend, Jim ended up 8th, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I was up as high as I drove up to 6th, and we were running like right on Kevin Mitchell's bumper when that temperature thing happened, and I had to back out and drive to the bottom, and a couple of cars got around me, and then I picked it back up and passed a couple of cars, but I never got back to where I was.
No.
Right. It looked like and sounded like and seems like it was an all in all good weekend for really just the local classes until you got into that Alan Turner 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good. We had some good racing. I mean, the Crown Stocks put on a good show. The Pure Stocks, now that's another story there, and that's something that needs to be talked about.
Yeah, got to get some cars out there.
Colby McDonald ended up winning, and Robert Barber claimed his motor. Okay, well, what that means is Robert Barber puts up $2,000. He pulls his engine out, gives it $2,000 in his motor to that driver, and he gets that driver's motor. Well, while they were in the process of pulling the engines, they pulled the distributor out of the car, and next thing I know, there's a big commotion. This is what I was told. I had already left, but there was a big commotion, and what happened was the motor that was getting claimed, somebody threw a bunch of washers and rocks and stuff down in that engine.
That's low.
Oh, that's beyond low. I'm sorry. Whether Mr. Colby McDonald knew that his crew did it or didn't know they did it, he's still responsible. You're responsible for your pit crew.
Yes.
And that's some low life stuff right there. And I'm not calling him a low life because I don't know who did it, but whoever did do it, they are a low life because that's not right.
No.
And Colby has been sweating from several people. Ben Cranford, one of them wanting to buy that motor. He's been sweating it. And I know why, because he knows why, because he's got a lot of money in that motor, and $2,000 in Robert Barber's motor ain't going to be the same. Okay? I'm sorry. But to do something like that, you deserve a couple weeks off. I think that if Tim and them don't suspend him for at least a week or two, that ain't right.
Yeah, I don't understand why you'd extend it that far.
I do 2 weeks.
That's crazy. No, I mean, I'm talking about, the distributor and
why you go
the debris.
To that length, right?
I would just go ahead and say debris if that was the case. I mean, why would you take it to that part? And you spent all that money to get to the front. You end up winning, and
well, you got protested. You got bought. I mean, I got protested. I had to tear my motor down for $250.
Yeah.
It cost me $1,400 to get the motor put back together. Yeah. Okay, but it was either that or I don't win the championship. Well, either you do this, you don't win the race. Well, he was disqualified because of what he did, which ain't right at all. But it's funny because now he's got to go home and get all that crap out of his motor that he put in there. So, welcome, good luck with that. But my point is, you don't do stuff like that. When you've been protested, if the motor's legal, sell it.
Right.
I mean, when I worked at Flumpton as a tech man, we had a guy that come from over Mobile Dirt Tracking, and he won our Pure Stock feature. And he told the guy was crying about his motor, and the guy goes, "I'll tell you what I'll do." He turned to the guy, he said, "You give me $500, let me take my carburetor off that motor. I'll pull it out and put it in the back of your truck." And the guy goes, "No." And I said, "Look, you're talking bad about that man's motor. That's cheaper than a protest. He'll give you the whole motor for $500.
Wasn't there a Sportsman motor that was claimed in Mobile?
Sure was. No.
Just
that was Buttrick, his motor claimed,
and he pulled it out and said, "You can have it."
Yep. And the bad part about it is they put it in the other guy's car, and he slowed down 2/10. So you tell me. But Buttrick was just a good handling race car, and he was one hell of a wheelman.
No, Buttrick knew what was going on.
Yeah. Buttrick could drive.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that man is a wheelman. But this kind of stuff right here can't stand. Something's got to be done about it. Because when I worked at Flumpton, that guy told him to pull the motor out $500. He wouldn't do it. We ended up pulling the head off that motor. It had stock pistons in it. Wow. It was a junk motor. I'm like, "Dang, dude." And he goes, "Yeah." And he had the car handling, and he was wheeling it. But I mean, the point being, you can't do stuff like this. That's a black eye on the racetrack. It's a black eye on the tech area. It's a black eye on that division, and it's a black eye on that driver.
Right.
You just don't do stuff like that. If you're going to give up your motor, hey, you're the one that spent all that money on a motor to run in a pure stock division. Yeah, you deserve it. And the guy that runs second or third, I'm sure his motor's got some stuff it ain't supposed to probably have either. And little old Mason Johnson, congratulations to him. He snuck in there and won the thing. He drove up to second. He was, keeping pace with Colby, but he couldn't get to him. Yeah. But Mason Johnson did a great job.
Yeah.
He ended up winning. That's his second feature this year.
Yeah, congrats to that.
That's
Right,
he's
absolutely.
Okie Mason's grandson.
Right.
That
Everybody
helps.
knows old Okie.
Oh, well, there it goes back to pedigree.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
You know,
Okie-
it's all in the blood and it's all in the genes.
Yeah, Okie's a great dude, and he works very hard on that car with his grandson, and it's something that, you know, I would love to do with my grandson. You know how cool that would be to win races with him.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
that's just a heartfelt, awesome deal, man. Congratulations to them getting the job done. As far as Colby McDonald's concerned, he should be suspended for a race or two. Robert Barber, hey man, you know, he's mad because he didn't get the motor.
Right.
But I wouldn't want it full of rocks either. And that actually happened one time to Robert Buckland. I ain't gonna
Yes,
say
it
who he bought a motor from, but he bought one. He took it home. Something told him to take it apart, and he found bolts and nuts down in one of the cylinders.
Right. It was Chopper Stagner was the one that bought the motor Mobile.
Yeah, Chopper did. Yeah, and he slowed down. Of course, Chopper's chassis was a little bit illegal
Yeah, well,
because Chopper always refused to go to tech. He'd win, he'd roll over, and they'd be like, "Nah, I ain't taking nothing off, load it up." Because he knew, because Johnny Green bought that car. And Johnny Green never raced it. It was that illegal that Johnny Green went, "I'm not bringing this thing. I don't know whatever happened to that car." I want to say it was a Mater-built car, and it might ended up being the 8 car that ended up winning the Derby a few years ago. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm thinking that's that car.
yeah, there are 2 cars out there in the Sportsman class that are extremely wide too.
Yeah, well, there's some skullduggery going on. I'm not going to say what I think it is, but there's something that they're doing that I'm noticing some stuff on the top 3 or 4 cars that they need to look at. But
Yep.
that's okay. They'll take care of that. We had fun this weekend, and it was fun to watch all the other races. Crown Stocks,
Ryan Blake.
Blake is how you pronounce his last name. Story Blake Roofing. In fact, they're probably going to roof my house. And I didn't know that Story was related to John Story. You know, he passed away not too long ago. John Story was a great guy. Raced out there years ago. I knew him. He was a great man. I didn't, because he said he was really sad that John Story couldn't be there to be in Victory Lane with him.
Well.
And I knew John. John knew me. John always talked to me. When I used to hang out with Jimmy Goodwin and them years ago, when we'd all go to lunch together, John Story was there eating lunch with us, with Dickie Davis, 2-time Snowball Derby winner Dickie Davis.
Yeah. Speaking of good ones, guess who came in second in the Crown Stock? Colby Goodwin.
Colby Goodwin. Yeah, I don't know if he's he's one of the not related to Jimmy Goodwin,
No.
but the other Goodwins, the one or Godwins. The 36 dirt car, Sean Goodwin. It's Goodwin. Yeah, Sean Goodwin.
Well, when you're racing, good win is not really a bad name.
Yeah,
to
but
be
Sean Goodwin,
running around with.
let me tell you something. Sean Goodwin is a bad you-know-what on dirt. Dude, he's won about everything there is to win and locally, so, in a street stock car, so he's pretty tough. But, yeah, that was a good race, man. That actually, they put on a good show. And then Stevie Mercer's son, Blake, was racing, and then he killed it. And by the way, that car's for sale, wrecked. It's still sitting at the racetrack. It is on Facebook for sale.
I don't know who would want that one. It's
Well,
tilt.
you could pull the frame, I'm pretty sure. I mean, or pull the motor all out of it, but it's still got a good cage, good seat, and everything. Stevie's got it for sale. I guess it scared that poor kid. He don't want to race no more.
Ryan Maxwell's in third. Tyler Young and Garrison Story rounded out the top 5 in the Crown Stock. So it was good racing.
Yeah, that's going to be a class that's going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, they 12 cars in that field, I think.
There were
I mean, as an
eight
entry level, I mean that's pretty stout.
Right.
I mean, with 12 cars.
Well, heck, Sportsman had more than Pure Stocks, and that's rare.
Very.
Yeah, I was like, dang, how many cars we going to have tonight? Dang, that's, glad to see our class growing a little again, but we'll get there. We'll have some fun, and that's what it's all about. And then that dadgum Alan Turner race ended up being pretty good. That kid from, what's his name?
Dawson Sutton.
Sutton, which I friended him on Facebook, by the way. He accepted my friend request and actually said thank you. But that kid, let me tell you something, he sat on a pole. Yeah. Of course, now he's in a Rackley War car. They're the best, probably pro late models.
It got something to do with Willie Allen?
Yes.
Willie Allen Racing?
Willie Allen Racing, War Shocks.
Yeah. Rackley Roofing.
Rackley
War.
Roofing,
Yep.
So, and they also have, they also have a Craftsman truck that my boy Matt DiBenedetto drives.
Matty D.
Correct.
Matty D. But I real quick, I bet you the Wood Brothers really are sad they got rid of Matt DiBenedetto because nothing against Harrison Burton, but he sucks. He's done nothing but tear up equipment. I hate to say it. It's true. All he's done is wreck and run in the back. Matt DiBenedetto was a threat to win almost every race he went out. He run in the top 10 a lot. They can't get a finish for nothing. I mean, it's sad. I hate that for the Burtons, but maybe he's not as talented as they first thought he was. I don't know. It's my opinion. And opinions are like, you know what. Yep. So anyway, that kid qualified on a pole. They do the redraw. He started third, and the 12 car of
Christopher
Tullis got out front. He looked impressive.
Yeah, he was running.
Yeah,
real
but
good.
I think he went too hard too quick because he ended up fading. But man, and then Matt Craig snuck up in there and got amongst them.
Craig was giving Sutton trouble
and
They
gave
traffic.
Tullius.
Yeah.
He was giving Tullius trouble. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, they both faded a little, and then next thing you know, that kid Sutton it's like they flipped a switch about halfway through that race. He got the lead and was long gone. Nobody had nothing for him after that.
I got to give a shout out to Gavin Graham coming in third in the last podium spot. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something. He's another one that came on late in the race.
Yeah.
I think if we'd had if we would have had a late caution,
ooh, that would have mixed it up.
That would have been I think Gavin Graham had a shot.
I think you did too.
Between him and Craig, I think it went down between Graham and Sutton for the win.
Yeah.
It would have been a great race. I think it was. I mean, it just looked like a great show because Gavin Graham and him were about the same speed on time, and Gavin Graham was coming.
Yeah.
He was about a half a lap back at one point.
Yeah, at the very end, he said, "Oh, it's almost over. Let's go."
Yeah. I forgot to tell you, it's time to go.
Yeah. Bryson Schaffer and Dylan Fetcho, we talked about him a whole lot. That was fourth and fifth, and a whole bunch of good drivers. And we had John Boland, Colin Allman, Seth Christensen, Jim Wall, who we've heard about a lot from the modifieds class. He wound up ninth. Carson Brown, he finished out the top 10. Just out of the top 10 was Katie Hedinger. Somebody we talk about a lot but haven't heard from too much, Anthony Cataldi. Let me spit that out there. He's in 12th place, and Christopher Tullis. And kind of unusual for Augie Real, though, wind up as far down as he was. But a lot of people were getting lapped during that race. And I know he was fighting at the very tail end to finish it out, but something developed in the car, and he just had a problem.
Well, I think Tullius just set too fast of a pace early. I think if he would have waited, maybe run 50 laps or 40 laps a little easier,
right,
I think he would have had a shot at the win. But once they put him out, he was done. Mm-hmm. Once he got shuffled up to the high side, his handling was gone.
Yeah, isn't that 10th place finisher, Carson Brown? Isn't he with the
Rackley War? He's the 26 car?
25, 26, and they were teammates. And
the 26 won.
Yeah.
25
which is not unusual for that number to win.
No,
race.
that's true. Especially at Five Flags, yeah.
It's kind of a favorite number out there.
I think so, too. But I tell you what, man, Dylan Fetcho, once again, he was the track champion last year. He hung in there in the top 5, and I think he went up to Nashville and won the week before. So,
ain't got to watch him.
you that kid's the bomb up in Nashville, but Pensacola, man, he does pretty good. He hangs around. I think if he had just a little bit more, I think he would win a bunch of races. Great kid.
It was a good race. A lot of fun. Like I said, lap traffic was just, and at points, I mean, I understand, supposed to get out of the way, but if you're fighting for position and points, it's hard to just move over and get out of the way.
Well, yeah, but the other thing is, if you're fighting for one lap down, that's one thing. But if you're already 2 lap down, just kind of get out. Don't race the leader super hard, because if you end up wrecking him, it's going to be a reflection of you.
Yes.
So, you need to move. Speaking of which, what do you think? We were talking about this earlier. What do you think about the choose cone?
I don't know. It's a good way to jump ahead if you're trying to do that, but it confuses things sometimes, I think.
I don't like it. I wish we wouldn't do it. This isn't NASCAR. And the thing about it is, if you miss the cone, you hit the cone, and you're out there bad enough, you're having to do what you got to do, but you got to count cars. 1, 2, 3. Okay, well, can I gain spot? Can I lose? Screw all that. Just you've earned a spot where you're at. Why do you get a chance to get another advantage? Why is it that the cars get to start where they start on the bottom when, it's dumb? It's just, to me, it's dumb. I don't like it. Wish they'd just leave it in NASCAR. I don't like choose cones.
I think so, too. Now, if you're fourth, when the caution comes out, regardless of where you are, you start on the outside of row 2 on the restart.
Yep.
There's no choice.
Well, unless the leader
that's where
chooses,
you finish. Yeah. That's where you are. That's where you restart.
Now, the leader can choose inside or outside.
Right. Yeah.
Now, I agree with that. Or let's go to an Alabama shuffle. We put the leader out, put second and third up behind him, and then let it eat. That's what they do on dirt.
But if you set fast time and you're set on the pole, where do you start? On the inside of row 1.
You
don't have a choice there.
No, you
not
can't.
always.
So if you're going to get rid of the choice, and when the caution comes out and you're first, you start on the inside.
I agree.
Period.
But the rule now is the leader can choose inside or outside on starts and restarts.
And we've seen occasions where starting on the outside doesn't always hurt you.
No, Bubba does that sometimes. Right. He'll pinch you getting in the corner.
Right.
He'll smoke you. He'll have that roll on the outside and smoke you down the corner. That's fine. But this choose cone stuff, I mean, especially with us bunch of eggheads, because a bunch of them are going to stack up on the bottom.
Right.
And there's going to be like 6 cars on the bottom. When they do that, I'm going to go outside and scoot all the way up, and I'm going to gain positions.
Yep.
I mean, because there's a good chance that somebody's going to slip and you're going to get in between them and you're going to gain a bunch of spots, which is the idea behind it, but I just don't like it. Sorry, this is not NASCAR. We don't need NASCAR gigs. We don't need all that crap. Let's just race.
Yeah, the money they pay for the paint to put the V on the asphalt for the choice line could be eliminated. So, and I'm going to stay right where I am. If the caution comes out and you're fourth, that's where you start, outside row 2 on the restart. The leader is on the inside, just like you said on the pole for a restart. If you're going to get rid of the cone, get rid of all the choice stuff.
I agree.
100%. Where you come across the line in the cautions where you restart, and we can eliminate all this conversation. Although it is good for a podcast, though. But that's my opinion, and if we're going to eliminate something, just make it simple. Keep it simple.
Right. I agree. I believe in the Occam's razor. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
Quit trying to make shit complicated.
Kisser. Keep it simple, racer.
Yeah. Keep it simple, stupid. But just stop with all the NASCAR stuff. The crowd doesn't care. You want to make the crowd excited. Let's get some different kinds of excited stuff on a racetrack. Right. Stop with all this, let's do the choose cone and NASCAR stuff because people watch NASCAR. Nobody comes to a short track that gives a flying hoot about what happens in NASCAR. We come to short track racing to watch short track racing.
Yes.
So let's do short track stuff. Let's not do what NASCAR does. Stop copying.
It's short track racing. It's so much more exciting to watch than NASCAR.
And totally different.
Yes. A lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Get out there and support that track.
Oh, yeah. It's funny. When I was over in Mobile a couple weeks ago, and I was walking through the pits, and I had some guy walk up to me out of the blue, didn't know who he was. He says, Jim Pokrant. I said, yeah, how you doing? We shook hands. He said, man, I love watching you race, man. We're there every week. We're fans. And his kids said, hey, and everything. See, stuff like that makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And that's the type of racing I'm talking about, because we're not celebrities. We're not trying to sign autographs. We're not ducking fans. We shake hands, talk to them. It's nice.
Yeah.
I just think the choose cone idea, deep six it.
Well, we're gonna leave that to the rest, and hopefully we get some comments about what your ideas are of the choice cone or the choice paint on the asphalt, as far as the leaders choosing which line to restart. We'll leave that up to you to throw us back some comments. We anticipate getting back with some conversation next Wednesday. But I really want to kind of move forward a little bit about what we've been preaching about some dirt track racing. Yes. And we wanted to dabble into the dirt a little bit more. And we had a big one last night in the 410 wing sprint in Kansas City, Kansas. And $50,000 to win. And we're going to throw some names out there that we have mentioned before. Like a Rico Abreu, maybe a Gio Scelzi kind of guy. Man, we've watched the videos, and they're going to be on our Facebook page. And
great,
50,000 to win.
You get a little excited.
Yeah, to understand what it takes to go through a dirt track event. And we're going to get into an XR super late model event after this, but it all seems to fall in suit. You've got to go through this main, that main, this main, whatever, to make the finals, to make the money.
Well, it all depends on how you qualify. If you qualify good, you're in, and then you have to they run heat races, and then they run the A and a B main. But I'm going to tell you something. The World of Outlaws puts on a show. That slide job stuff is fun to watch.
Yeah, slide jobs, crossovers. I mean, commentators just going crazy with it because it's so exciting. This one was at Lakeside Speedway, which is the high limit racing season opener last night for $50,000 to win. 410 sprint car main event.
Good show.
Oh, yeah. Gio Scelzi, Carson Macedo, Tyler Courtney, David Gravel, Kyle Larson, of all people. I think we know a little bit about Kyle Larson.
He's been on the dirt once or twice.
Donnie Schatz, Brad Sweet, Buddy Kofoid, Rico Abreu, unfortunately, was leading with 5 to go. And
he
got
had
into
that
a
race won till his
Yes.
tire went flat. Got into a lap car and cut a tire down.
Cut a right rear tire down with 5 to go and ended up finishing 22nd. But we're going to put that video in the highlights from another source on our Facebook page, and you'll understand a little bit more about what we're talking about. And if you have a chance to go and see one of these events,
Do so.
do so.
Yes.
Yeah, you'll enjoy it. That's
Yeah,
for
like
sure.
he said,
Do that.
so.
Do that.
Speaking of Kyle Larson and Superman, did you see that battle at Bulls Gap? Those guys, I mean, the back of Kyle Larson's car was caved in from him tail slapping the fence.
Oh, wow.
Him and Davenport battled like, it was incredible. And the Larson won, the whole ass end of the car is just shoved in where he just kept slapping it because it's guardrail on the outside.
Yeah.
And he was slamming into the guardrail. I mean, it was a show. I'm telling you, you can't have any better racing than Kyle Larson and Davenport. And here's another thing I want to bring up real quick while we're on the Kyle Larson thing. I'm sick of hearing NASCAR commentators and their crap about, oh, NASCAR guys don't need to be doing this kind of stuff. It's dangerous. They're dangerous what they do on Sunday.
Yes.
Okay, just because he wants to run. Mr. H approved him to do this and sponsors him to do this. Okay, yeah, it all goes back to Elliott falling and breaking his leg snowboarding.
Well, that was completely outside of the normal thing that he does.
But even still, I mean, these guys, yes, they make good money. Yes, they get paid to drive a race car. Why should they live a life that's sheltered? What do they want to do? Keep 4 bodyguards around them at all times? Can't do this, can't do that. Don't walk here, don't go there. I mean, that's crap.
Keep him in a bubble.
Let them race. And I mean, and we'll get to it in a little bit. We lost a sprint car driver this past week, and it's a dangerous sport. But you know what? We know the dangers when we get behind the wheel of the car.
Yeah, every time you get in, something could happen. You could break anything.
You know what? When you're on the next page of life in the Lamb's Book of Life, it's your time to go. It's your time to go. That's it. No matter if you're driving a race car, you're driving that street, or you walk outside and you slip and break your neck. But the point is, these guys race, and Kyle Larson puts on a show wherever he goes.
It helps sharpen your skills, too.
It does. I mean, has he done really great in Cup? He's had some issues, but for the most part, the dude's, he's on his game.
Yeah. That race you're referring to is at Volunteer Speedway.
It was a Volunteer.
At Bulls Gap, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Just northeast of Knoxville, Tennessee. And it is dubbed by many, 4/10 mile. It is dubbed by many as the world's fastest half-mile dirt track. So, okay. Yeah, we got Chris Madden winning the first night, which was last night. It goes through this weekend. It's $300,000 purse. He wins $10,200 last night, but Saturday night's A main feature will pay $100,000. And we've talked about this before, and this is the super late models on dirt. They are in Tennessee with some of the big names. I mean, Chris Madden, Ricky Thornton Jr., Tyler Erb. The list goes on and on and on. But we've talked about this before. These are the guys that are running for a living.
Right.
And not just moving to move up or racing to move up.
Well, if you can ever listen to one of the podcasts that Jonathan Davenport's been on, he's been on Mike Wallace's podcast and a couple of others. He's really interesting guy to listen to. He's just a good old Southern boy with just a Georgia accent. He's just, just plain as he can be. Just a great race car driver, good guy, family man. And just, great stuff. His wife posted a picture of his family on the front stretch in a Cup car, and they're like, "Wow, thank you for everybody for making this happen," because he never got a chance. He had fun, but like you said, he said that these cars are not designed to run on dirt, and he's absolutely right. If they're going to do a dirt race, which I don't think Bristol Dirt's coming back because they didn't announce ticket sales for next year like they did last year. I got a feeling it's going away. And if they do, let's go to Eldora.
Right, yeah.
The truck race at Eldora was incredible. They were bouncing off each other, doing Kyle Larson that one year just kept banging the truck off the fence and finally broke it, but every time he'd bang it off the fence, he'd get the lead. Let's go to a real dirt track.
Yeah.
People are saying, put dirt on Wilkesboro. Hell to the no. Leave that place alone because that's going to be a good show. And we were just talking about that, Thomas and I, how good the All-Star race is probably going to be this year.
Oh, yeah.
I think I will back that up, and I believe from what I assume is probably true with Dale Jr. stirring this whole thing up years ago about bringing racing back to North Wilkesboro because of the history and everything that happens around that area. I think he has a lot to do with it, and I think it's going to be the best all-star race that we have seen in a long time.
Well, Junior flies a lot with Marcus Smith, who owns North Wilkesboro. You know, they bought the track and then took the date away and he also owns interest in Nashville. Well, what's Junior also been pushing for? Get the old Nashville Fairgrounds in order, and they're working on that too. So, I mean, God bless them. That's going to be cool because Nashville Fairgrounds is historic. North Wilkesboro is historic, and the late model racing is going to be a good show, which Bubba and them will be there because it's a Stars event.
Yeah.
So, I mean, dang, I mean, it's going to be good. I'm so looking forward to some of this short track racing we got coming up.
Oh, well, this weekend's going to be a lot, too. I mean, well, I don't know that we brought it up yet, but we got the Rumble by the River coming up, too.
Rumble by the River. That's going to be a good one. I think that is isn't that a Southern Super Series event?
Yes,
correct.
Is it? Okay, good. That means our boy will be there.
Yep.
And Mobile's running this weekend, too, so.
Yep.
Does Mobile run a local show?
Yes.
Are they? Mm-hmm. Wish they let me run my Hoosiers. I might have went over there, but I can't. I can't afford to go over there and not run my Hoosiers because I can't afford to buy those. And we've got 4 of those tires, but they're so old. I'm just.
It's scary.
Well, it's not that they're scary. It's just they're wore out. You know, I mean, if somebody had 4 tires, they'd loan me on some rims. I'd go over and run because it wouldn't cost me. I mean, I got Ben's truck sitting there in the yard. I can hook it to my trailer and. So, I don't know. We'll see. That may happen. You going over there?
Oh, yeah. I'll be there. Yeah.
Oh, you got to film. That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
You're the film man now.
Oh, yeah.
The official
Ted
videographer.
Ted Baber Video Productions.
Mobile
Ladies and gentlemen.
International Speedway.
Part of the Short Track Guys podcast trio in the studio, as always.
In the house.
In the house.
His house.
Well, guys, we've covered a big one here locally. We've gone over a couple of big dirt races and one we're going to follow up certainly next Wednesday because that XR event with a $100,000 payout on Saturday night is going to be a big deal. Check your local sources online. If you can do the pay-per-view, do it because you won't be disappointed. I do want, before we sign off, to remind everybody a tribute that Jim brought up earlier about a sprint car driver that we
lost over this past weekend. A young man by the name of Justin Owen was a USAC racer. He died, and I hate to say it that way, but we want to send condolences to him and his family in a USAC crash, qualifying for the USAC race in Lawrenceburg Speedway. Young man, was in our thoughts and prayers, and we just want to let their family and everybody know that we're thinking about them and that we hope and pray that he's in a better place.
I absolutely agree. It happens on occasion, and it always hurts, and it hurts the whole community.
Well, I did want to say something on top of that, and that's, we've been losing a lot of sprint and seriously injuring sprint cars, midget drivers. We might want to start looking at safety on these cars.
Yes.
Because something's going wrong. It's getting these people severely injured or hurt or even worse. And it's in these type of cars that it's happening a lot.
Right. I got to do something.
It's time to start looking. Okay, we can't continue down this road and families losing loved ones because, maybe the dirt community. I've had people argue with me like dirt late models with no window nets. If your arm gets outside that car, dude, it's crushed.
Yeah.
But we don't need window nets. That's just stupid. Okay, well, in sprint cars, these guys are landing on the top of the roll cage and it's killing them. And it's time to start looking into what's going on.
Well, all I can say is just don't skimp on safety.
No.
And some of the organizations just kind of, reevaluate what you're doing. We witnessed it in 2001, and you saw the changes. There have been no real seriously injured race car drivers since 2001. And so, I don't know what to say, but, our thoughts and prayers are out from the Short Track Guys podcast. The Owens family, Godspeed.
Absolutely.
Well, guys, I hate to end it on a note like that. But, it's always a fun deal to get together with you guys on a weekly basis and go over some of the big past short track races and some of the upcoming short track races and some dirt in between there, if you can include all that.
Throw a little dirt at it.
But you guys we're Short Track Guys podcast family.
Absolutely.
We are a family, and this is going to continue, and we appreciate everybody's support. Yeah. It is our motivation outside of us knowing what short track racing is meant to us in the past and now in the future. But, guys, I don't know if you got anything else, just let it go.
I'd like for y'all to leave us a review, even on Spotify now. You can give us a 5-star or whatever. Same thing on your iPhone. Go to your iPhone, iTunes, and give us a good review, because it helps us move up the charts. It helps us with our deal, so we can get more sponsorships. So maybe we can get bigger and talk more and more about short track racing.
Yeah. And thanks again to McDonald Muffler for being a part of our journey. We appreciate that, and hey, I look forward to getting together next Wednesday. And if we're going to do just a 1, 2, 3 all together, let's sign off.
Right.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Let's go, Brandon. Good night, everybody.
Stay strong, America.
Thanks for listening.